I'm Patrick Bailey with whiteboardcoder.com. Today is October 15th, 2019. And in this video, I'll be showing how I have my home office set up so I can quickly switch between two computers. Okay, more and more of us are working from home. And more of us have interesting hobbies like YouTube or side hustles, or you just plain old need two computers to get your regular job done. And so with that, I was going to go over how do you switch between two computers and what do you do. So recently we just moved to this new house and I built a temporary big desk here. And so I decided to kind of change the way I do things. Before, I would swap between my two computers. And so basically I had everything kind of set up kind of what I wanted and have to physically move a machine. I take a machine, put it on the floor and put the other machine up and then rehook everything up. And so there's a little bit of downtime, but not too bad. But I decided, hey, I got a big desk, I got a big house, maybe I can make this easier. So I said, I'm willing to go spend a little bit of money to go buy a nice KVM switch, but historically speaking, KVM switches, and for those who may not know, a KVM is keyboard, video, and mouse. So back in the day, especially, we still do it. You might have some reason you need to control multiple computers from one desk. And so they have KVM switches that can connect multiple computers together, and you can push a button and your keyboard, mouse, and video just switch between the computers, but you're only on one computer at a time. And with that, there are KVMs out there, but they're expensive to do what I want, especially with HDMI, USB 3, and all that jazz. So I couldn't find a reasonably priced one that I liked. Also, there's some audio stuff I'm doing. But with that, I found a couple of things I like. So I have, how many buttons do I have now? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. Let's call it 4 and a half to get the job done. But I'm liking it. It works very well. So the first thing I have, and I'll put some links in the show notes here, is this Sabrent USB 3.0 USB switcher. And so a little interesting because it comes with a couple of cables. So it comes with these, I don't even know what every time you think you knew all the USB cords, you find another one. This one is really a bizarre one, but it comes with two. And the idea, it has two on here. You plug those into your computers, and you plug this one on the other side. So on the other side, I do have a little hub. This plugs into, so I have my keyboard, I have my camera, everything in there. And then, I can't show you here, but I will in a minute when I show the whole thing. There's a little light switch, and you can see here on Amazon, they have the A glowing. But I just click that button, and it just switches between A and B, and it works just fine. And I've been using it just successfully. I like it, and it works really well. The other thing I have is I have two monitors, two extra monitors here. And so I got this HDMI switch, here we go, 4K, for $10. And so a similar thing right here. You got two HDMI coming out, and you got one coming in. And with this, you don't get any cords, you got to provide your own. But it does light up. I can't show you right here, but it does light up to show you which one's which. And if you think about it, you can line both of these up so that the sides match, so you don't know which computer you're on. So I do that, and it works pretty well. The only caveat to be careful of, and most of us don't know this, or I need to worry about this, if you have a regular HDMI cable, no problem. But if you don't, there are some HDMI cables that are skinnier, and they're skinnier because they actually have a chip on both ends that will change, rather than having 8, I'm going to say this wrong. How many wires HDMI normally has, I forget, they can parse the signal down just a couple of wires so they can make it skinnier. And if you have one of those cables, which I have a couple, you'll see the heads are different. One has to be connected to your source and one connected to your monitor. If you have one of those don't work with this because those draw some power, and this needs the power so it can light up and do it. Well, it's a physical switch, but it does light up. So those don't work. But regular cables do. So I had to go order a couple extra cables, but that's just a word of warning. And the last thing I have, which I like a lot, this has been really good for the way I do work. This is not, well, I guess it's part of the KVM. What I have here is an audio switcher, but it's kind of this is my 4.5 switch. It's $25. I like it a lot. I use it every day. What I have done is you can actually switch the schematics on here how you want, where you can have multiple ins and multiple outs. And you have two buttons to control those ins and outs. So I have the computer audio out going here, so I can control them from either computer. But then I have two outs. One goes to my speakers, and one goes to my headphones. So that way I just leave my headphones permanently plugged in. And if I'm in a meeting or something's going on where I don't want to go through my speakers for some reason, I can just hit that button, put my headphones on, and I'm good. So I can get any combination I want. I can get computer 1, computer 2, and speakers out, or headphones. So it's kind of a nice combo. I really like it, and that gets used a lot. Other thing I should point out, if you're doing those audio, you might need to get some extra cords. So here, I'll put a link here. I bought a couple extra. How many extra cords did I buy? I bought 2, 1 to each computer. I already had a cord to my speaker, my headphones, didn't need that. But I bought a 2-pack here, $7, and that's been working for me just fine. So this has been working pretty well, where I can go between computers really, really easily. So with that, overall price, if you add all that up, you're talking a switch for about $15, depends on the day. This was $10. This HDMI switch is for $10, I think it's killer. And this guy is a little more pricey, $25, but it gets the job done. And $7. So overall, I spent a little over $70 to get it all done, which might seem like a lot, but it's far better than buying a KVM switch. And the most expensive thing was the audio. And when it comes to some of these, you don't need to buy. I didn't buy 2 of these at first. I wasn't sure how well good it was going to be, so I bought 1. Doesn't change the shipping cost, so I bought 1, tested it out, liked it, bought another one. The USB one, $15. If you're unsure, it's worth the risk, but I've been using it for months now, and I think it's great. But I highly recommend these. This has made switching between my laptops just cake. With that, let me actually video and show my setup and show how it all flips back and forth. Okay, so here's my setup. I currently have 2 laptops. I have a Windows laptop, and I have a Macintosh laptop. And I have everything connected through all these HDMI, KVM switches and all this stuff. So we'll go one by one. So over here is my first HDMI switch. And you'll see I got 2 cords coming out. This one is going to a connection on my Windows machine. This one is going to a connection on my Mac machine. And you can see I got these light up switches. You can see there's number 2 lit up. And we don't need to pay attention to what's going to happen, but if I click this, it'll switch over to number 1. It's changing the screen, but we'll go over that in a minute. If I switch back, you'll see it lights up number 2. Now this is going to the monitor nearest it. I have another one over here that might be a little harder to see because it's hiding back here, but it's the same thing. I got HDMI switch. This is going to the monitor, and the 2 in the back are going to the computers. This red one is going to my Windows machine. This blue one is going to my Macintosh, my OS 10 machine. And I do it so they line up. So you'll see right now it's on Windows. It has number 2 lit up. This one also over here has number 2 lit up. And they're on the same side. It just makes it easier for me to remember. Now, the other thing I have is the USB switch. I have 2 cords coming out. This one's going to the Windows machine. This one's going to the Mac machine. And this one is going actually to a little USB hub that may be hard to see. It's hidden back there. But there's a little USB hub back there which I have my keyboard connected to, my wireless mouse connected to, and my camera connected to. And you'll see the blue light is on this side, the same side that the number 2 light's on. And so now I've got it set up so they're all on this side, so they're all doing Windows. And so you can see Windows I have screen 1, Windows I have screen 2, and Windows I have screen 3. And if you can see I'm mousing around, I'm actually on the Windows, so they're all the same. Now I can switch them all over to the Mac, and what I do is I'll click the button here, and it might be hard to see from there, but now it goes to 1. As it goes to 1, it updates this screen. Now this screen is now a Mac. This one is still a Windows machine because I haven't clicked it over. Then I'll come over here and I'll click this one as well. Takes a second for them all to refresh, and now all the screens in front of me, except for, of course, the laptop, is now Mac, Mac, Mac. But technically my mouse is still connected to the Windows because I haven't touched this one. I'll click this button too. And we'll see the light flips over. The button's right there. And then now, I'm fully now on my Mac. You can see my little mouse moving over. So that's what you can do. It's really convenient. I'll do a little quicker now. So now I want to go back to my Windows machine. All I do is click, click, click. And in just a little second, it has to refresh a little bit. Now I'm on my Windows box, and it's that easy, and it works pretty well. I guess the only thing I warn you about that, because it does go through the USB, that if you're in a conference call and you have your video going through your USB, the minute I click that, it goes to the other machine. So I have cut off a call or two accidentally like that. But also, another thing you can do, I don't do often, but you can be mixed. So I could have 2 screens open for my Windows and 2 for my Mac if I wanted to for some reason. I don't do that often, but on occasion I do. My mind doesn't work too well like that, but on occasion I have done that. So it's something you can do. So that all works pretty well. I'll switch that over to Windows. And lastly is my audio switcher, which I like a lot. So on the back I have 2 cords coming out. This cord is going to my Windows machine. This one is going to my Macintosh machine. On the top here, there's actually a volume knob. So I actually turn it all the way down because I have 2 things playing. I have one thing playing on the Windows machine and a different thing playing on the Mac machine so I can show it. So right now if I turn it, well, before I turn it up, this is going to my speakers. This is going to my headphones. So this controls which computers is being listened to. So I'll turn it up here. That's coming out of my Windows machine. If I click this, that's my Macintosh. So it's just that easy. Also, I've got this, which will switch between my speakers and my headphones. If I click this, I don't know if I can pick up the audio on this, but it's going through my headphones. So it's really nice in meetings. I can take this, throw this on real quick, and now I've got my headphones on. And then when I'm done with the meeting, take it off, and I got my audio back. Also, there is a mute button here. I don't use it often, but it is there. And what I do use sometimes, there's a knob, so I can just quickly go down. So I use this setup a lot. So I like this setup. I don't have 3 screens in a row. I do have this weird separation where I have 2 screens like this at the end, but it works for me. So overall, that's my setup, and I've been using it for a couple of months, and I like it a lot. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a like. To subscribe, just click the subscribe button. Also, you can follow me on Twitter under the handle @whiteboardcoder.com. View any code I may have thrown up as a gist at GitHub under the username PatmanDenver, or check out my blog site at whiteboardcoder.com.